everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nathra, and today I'm going to be reacting to / responding to some of your unpopular K-pop opinions and confessions. This is the finale of my end of the year special. If you haven't seen the other two videos, check the link in the description as well as in the I button. So I posted a video asking for y'all to fill out a Google form back in November, and I received over 100 responses. I selected some of the juiciest opinions, but if you'd like me to make a part 2 with some others, make sure to leave a comment down below. If you want the opportunity to be in a video like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a Q&A video in the upcoming month, so make sure to leave your questions in the comments below. Now, grab a snack and get comfy because we're gonna be here for a while. Number 1. Blackpink was for me a bit of a disappointment, but I also feel it is a step in the right direction. Hopefully they'll be able to make more music from now on. The album was a mini, if we're honest. I do kind of agree with this one. I feel like full albums should have at least 8 to 10 new songs, not just a few new songs. How You Like That and Ice Cream were both pre-released as singles, and I think we were all expecting the album to contain a lot more new songs in addition to those. I made a video about my favorite albums of 2020, and this did not make the list, mostly because the songs were pretty okay to me. I liked Crazy Over You and Pretty Savage, but Lovesick Girls as a title was pretty underwhelming. Also, I wasn't a fan of the collaboration tracks with Selena Gomez and Cardi B. I hope that in 2021 we can get more consistent releases, but also YG kinda sucks at giving them a lot of music projects. If they release more than one mini album next year, I would be surprised. Number 2. I think that groups releasing retro vibe type songs are getting old and that they are just boring now. And the disco/retro concept needs to stop, even though it just started. I feel like every group is doing it now, and it makes all the songs kinda sound the same. I didn't get why everyone hated on cute and girl crush concepts until the disco trend happened. I think that you're not alone in this. From what I've seen, a lot of people are getting bored with retro concepts, and that tends to happen whenever a K-pop trend gets super big, like Tropical House did a few years ago. Personally, I don't mind it. I do think that there's certainly a limit on how much variety you can have while having a retro concept. Some of my favorite retro releases this year were Mago by G-Friend and We Ride by Brave Girls, but I didn't really enjoy some other popular songs like Home Run by 17 or Dynamite by BTS. Music is obviously subjective, so it's totally fair for you to say that retro concepts are getting boring, and also the second person makes a good point about how people tend to hate on certain concepts until they become the major trend. I hope that in 2021 we'll see some fresh concepts, but I wouldn't be too mad if retro was still very popular. Number 3. NCT should have more subunits, more opportunities for different members to shine, perform, and interact. Yes, 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 a million times yes. Not only are members like Mark and Taeyong getting hate for being too much in the center, I think that the NCT 2020 project showed us the unequal opportunities some members got. Members like Lucas and Winwin, as well as new members Sungchan and Shotaro, weren't prominently featured in Part 1 or Part 2. I did like the new NCT-U combinations we got, which is a good start, but those units aren't permanent. Since there's not a lot of reshuffling happening, a lot of the members get overworked very easily, especially if they're in fixed units like 127, Dream, and wayv. I know we're all eagerly awaiting an NCT Japan unit, so hopefully that is coming soon, and if Yuta isn't the leader, let's just say I might have to swim over to SM and knock some sense into whoever's in charge. Apparently there's an NCTV in the works, and some trainees are kind of popping up on the internet, so I'm curious to see what that's about and if there'll be a new unit in the upcoming year. Number 4. I really didn't vibe well with THANXX and INCEPTION by ATEEZ. I think they should have stayed more with the concept and sound of Wonderland and Say My Name. And INCEPTION Song of the Year, that's the opinion. I 100% agree with the second person. As you can tell by my July comeback review thumbnail, I thought INCEPTION was the perfect blend of vocals, and I really liked how ATEEZ didn't do the retro concept like everybody else did this year. I appreciate how often they change their concept. Like from debut to now, we've heard a lot of different sounds. I was Team INCEPTION since voting began, and I was really happy with it when it came out. I feel like they would have released something else this year, but with Mingi on hiatus, they probably had to change plans. I think 2021 will be a huge year for ATEEZ, and I'm excited to see what they release next. For this one, I want to give a trigger warning. It does talk about December 18th. Number 5, non-Shaewals faking their tears when December 18th comes around is the most annoying thing I've ever seen in the K-pop fan community. I'm a Shaywall since 2013 and it rubs me the wrong way, like not your tragedy. I totally agree with this person's sentiment. December 18th has passed already, and since I tend to stay away from K-pop stuff online that day, I didn't see a lot of people mourning. I already know that people from different fandoms will pay their respects, which is fine because his passing was very sad, so it makes sense to mourn on the 18th. What's not okay is anytime someone posts about him or SHINee throughout the year, the comments are always so sad, and most of the time people leaving these comments aren't fans of his or SHINee. Like, why can't we remember him outside of his passing? He was a wonderful artist and a compassionate human being. He shouldn't just be used for Twitter clout or Instagram likes. Number 6. Boycotting someone because they had one controversy that wasn't even anything serious is stupid. I mean, technically you are right, but it's not up to us to decide why or why not someone should unstan an artist. If a person takes offense, then they have every right to stop standing. But what's not okay is talking badly about the artist that they stopped standing. It costs $0.00 not to be an ass on the internet, and they should just focus on the groups and artists they like instead of trying to drag the ones that they dislike. Number 7. DYNAMITE by BTS wasn't that good for all the hype it's getting. I've always stood by the idea that just because a song is popular doesn't mean it's automatically good or bad. Did I like DYNAMITE? No. I didn't like a single thing about it, and hearing it play everywhere just made me dislike it even more. I'm not the biggest fan of BTS anymore just because I started ulting NCT in 2018, so I have no need to keep up with BTS's new releases. DYNAMITE wasn't my taste, so obviously I'm going to agree with this person because of my own biases, but for the people who actually like this song, your opinion is valid too. In general, don't get upset if people like or dislike a certain song and you feel the opposite way. Let everyone have their own opinion. Number 8. I feel idol reality shows / variety shows, the ones made by the company for their group, are not as fun anymore. I feel bored watching them that I'd rather watch funny clips fan make and edit than watch the actual content. This is really interesting. Honestly, I don't have that much time to watch any kind of reality or variety show. The only one that I follow right now is Jessie's Showterview because, first of all, I love her, and I also think that she's a great host. I also like to watch fan edits because they tend to just pick up the funniest parts of the program, which I appreciate. Sometimes there can also just be too much content. For example, NCT is constantly uploading vlogs or behind the scenes clips, and sometimes it's just not feasible to watch everything a group puts out. I think because of the pandemic, companies are using like daily vlogs or mini variety shows to compensate for large-scale TV appearances, so that could be why they're putting so much effort into them. Number 9. I'm disappointed that WONDERLAND didn't go along the already established subunits of Wonder, Joy, Sweet, and Natural. I guess this means China Line ain't coming back anytime soon since the 2 and Rocket Girls disbanded already. And kinda wish that 17 did music videos for their different units like before. Large groups should take advantage of their established subunits. Also, will we ever see Luna 1/3, OEC, or YYXY ever again? I definitely agree that large groups should take advantage of subunits. I'm most familiar with 17's system, so I guess I'll start with them first. Even though their albums have unit tracks on them, I really miss having different music videos for the hip-hop unit, vocal unit, and performance unit. Cosmic Girls is a pretty interesting case. They just debuted a separate unit, WONDERLAND Chakomi, when they technically already have subunits included in their group lore. As far as China Line goes, I have little hopes of a full 13-member comeback anytime soon. It seems like the 3 members who are in China are actually faring quite well, and maybe they're just gonna stay there for the time being. I'm not really too into Luna, but from what I've seen so far, they really should use the subunit system, since some of the members don't even get more than like 3 or 4 seconds of lines. I guess that's kind of the crux of having big groups, is that unless you employ some kind of subunit system, some members get screwed when it comes to line distribution and screen time. Number 10. HWASA MAMAMOO obviously hasn't learned anything from past scandals, as made obvious with HWASA dressing up as a Native American. I know it was supposed to be Pocahontas, but at the same time, as a First Nations person myself, I'm tired of people thinking my culture is a costume to wear. First of all, I'm so sorry that your culture and many other First Nation cultures are being used as a costume or trend. I think the issue of cultural appropriation is a bit of a tricky one, mostly because people of the same culture will have different opinions on what is or is not cultural appropriation. It's really hurtful and insensitive when groups are trying to go global and make it big internationally, yet they have no awareness of cultural issues. Even if they learn about a specific culture, there is still a time and a place to wear an article of clothing or style their hair in a certain way. I guess the only thing we can do is keep pushing for companies to educate their idols, since it's evident that some idols don't want to take any accountability. With regards to MAMAMOO, I've briefly heard of their blackface scandal, but I thought they apologized for that Bruno Mars parody. I could be wrong, and obviously it's not even my apology to accept, but I guess sometimes people only apologize when they get caught and not out of genuine remorse. Number 11. Getting bored of the rookies these days. Guess I enjoy the groups I'm already familiar with. You know, me too. I honestly feel this way more towards boy groups. No rookie group so far has really impressed me besides ELAST. As far as female rookies go, I like aespa and Stacy the most. I feel like nobody has a concept or a story that stands out to me. I really gravitated towards ELAST because their music has a very orchestral and magical sound to it. I'm kinda sick of tough boy, hip hop, cool swag concepts for boys, and for girl groups, I'd love to see a concept like what aespa has. Yeah, their AI thing is kinda weird, but at least it's memorable, and I want the groups that I stan to be memorable. For me, I also think that age plays a role in it. Seeing rookie groups with like 14 or 15-year-old members low-key makes me uncomfortable. Obviously, when I became a K-pop fan at 12, that wasn't really a problem since most groups had older members. It does make me uncomfortable when these members get a certain type of attention, if you catch my drift. Number 12. I feel like younger idols can debut, but their education should be made a priority by having tutors and online school, and they should be protected from exploitation. All idols should be protected, but children and minors more so. Wow, this kind of piggybacks of just what I was talking about. I'm not the biggest fan of minors being in the entertainment industry, especially one that has the potential to be as extremely exploitative as the K-pop industry. Like, I know that there are/were some very talented kids who debuted when they were young. Taemin, Jisung, Jungkook, Yeri, Wonyoung, etc., but the media and the internet are some nasty places. You can find so much hate and sexually explicit content directed towards these minors, especially if they're girls. They're not women, they're minors, they're girls. Education should be made a priority in an ideal world, but we know that most K-pop companies focus more on training their artists to be perfect idols. Number 13. There is nothing special about IZ'ONE'S music to me. I agree, the only IZ'ONE song I actually like is Secret Story of the Swan, just because it was more to my taste. Panorama was forgettable, Violetta is meh, Fiesta was forgettable, and La Vie en Rose was also just meh. I also don't really like their vocals very much, so I never felt inclined to stan. Number 14. Don't hate me, but I think GOT7 will disband soon. Their agency doesn't want to promote them, and their songs aren't of as good of a quality. JYP is showing more preference to girl groups anyways, so I think GOT7 should leave. Yeah, I agree with this one too. JYP seems to be forgetting about GOT7, and I also didn't really like their most recent comeback. I'm not sure if this is because JYP is focusing more on TWICE's super huge fan base, and they're simultaneously trying to develop ITZY's fans, or what. I'm just really disappointed at the lack of content that we've been getting over the past few years, so if they do decide to disband and not renew their contracts, I would totally understand. Number 15. PNAἰșion isn't that great of a company. There's too much gap between releases, and they don't even have a group to promote. Plus, their solo artists are all too underground. Not to be mean, but Hyuna, Jessie, Dawn, Crush, and Haze are all quite successful. I'm not sure what your definition of underground is, but these artists are definitely not underground. Also, you don't need to have a group to be a successful record label. PNAἰșion is like barely a year old, and I think they're doing a great job of managing things so far. They've given a fair share of creative control to their artists, and for an agency who currently has rappers and R&B singers, that's a huge benefit. I also like how Psy is involved in a lot of aspects of production. He seems to be like a really great mentor/father figure to all these artists. And lastly, number 16. aespa's debut is the beginning of Red Velvet's downfall. God, I hope not. I personally don't think SM would push Red Velvet to the side when there hasn't been a 5-member comeback in like a year. I know that Irene's scandal was probably not the main reason for aespa's debut. I mean, this has been talked about since like the beginning of 2020, so we did see a new girl group debut coming. What worries me is how it's hard for SM to manage 2 girl groups at the same time. When Red Velvet debuted, FX's comebacks became less and less frequent, so I hope that doesn't happen this time around. Also, I would like at least one more solo debut or a new unit debut, or even a Seulgi Irene follow-up before their contract expires in August of 2021. Those were some interesting opinions that y'all provided. Like I said before, if you want to be featured in a video in the future, make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram as well. This is the conclusion of my 2020 year-end special. I started my YouTube channel in May of this year, and I'm so appreciative of your support. I know that I couldn't upload as much as I wanted to when I wanted to because of school and stuff, so thank you for your patience. Also, thank you for your respectful, thoughtful comments and discussions. I think our community is quite nice, and I only hope that it grows in the next year. I hope your holiday celebrations were safe and that 2021 treats us all better. Like I said before, I'm doing a Q&A video, so leave some questions in the comments. They can be about K-pop, stuff about me, really whatever you're curious about. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video and in the new year. Bye!